It was the 6th of May 2012. Ekstraklasa was rounding up yet another dramatic season. While the relegation fight was already settled, up top, 4 teams could still win the league. 2 of the 4 teams involved were the traditional powerhouses of the Polish game, Legia Warsaw and Lech Poznań. The first team fumbled the bag at the end of the season, while Lech had a great run, winning 4 previous games. The other 2 competitors? A team with a great era in the recent years. Śląsk Wrocław under a veteran manager Orest Lęczyk, and the subject of today's video, Ruch Chorzów, an underdog side who had Waldemar Fornalik, their former player, as a coach. The last game was on their home ground against Lechia Gdańsk, just a mid-table team that was seeing out the season. Ruch won 14 Polish league titles in their history, but failed to get one since 1989. So this was it. A perfect chance to make history. The game was cagey in the first couple of minutes, but in the 18th, Arkadiusz Piech scored to take the lead, and Gabor Straka made a long shot to confirm the victory. This would guarantee the title if Śląsk Wrocław did not win 1-0 in Kraków against Wisła. It almost was a perfect story. This 2-1 win could be the perfect ending to Waldemar Fornalik's tenure in Ruch. It was right there, just a reach of a hand away. It would be the perfect ending, because Fornalik was selected as a Polish national team manager right after the Euro 2012, in which Poland failed to get out of the group stage. Now, the year is 2014. After a poor start to the season, Ruch Chorzów sacked Jacek Zieliński and replaced him with a Slovak Jan Kocjan. The new manager focused on being defensively solid, and it helped Ruch climb up and finish the Ekstraklasa on 3rd, making it a 3rd league podium in the last 5 seasons. In the Europa League qualifiers, Ruch added even more drama for the fans. The positive drama, as they advanced from the 2nd qualifying round after beating Vaduz from Liechtenstein. Even more, against a Danish side Esbjerg, Łukasz Surma scored a last-minute goal, which resulted in Ruch advancing to the playoffs, only losing to Ukrainian Metalist Kharkiv in extra time. Fast forward to 2017, and the team went down from the Ekstraklasa. Oh boy. We all thought that the Blues would be back to the top flight after just a year in the 2nd tier. Except we didn't. We knew this was larger than just a sporting merit. Nobody has thought it was going to be a single year. And it looks like the team will have to go through hell now. And this video is the full story. That 2017 relegation did not happen solely because of this hand goal scored by Arka Gdynia's Rafał Siemaszko. The 2010, 2012 and 2014 podiums were just a cover, a mask, a disguise. What was under this mask was constant financial troubles, which would inevitably explode. On February 2012, Dariusz Smagrowicz was appointed as the chairman of the club. He was a part of Ruch's silver and later bronze, but off the pitch, finances, which already weren't in a good state since the political transformation, went off the cliff. From 5.7 million Polish zloty of debt to 34.3 million. Which is just from over €1 million to 7.8 million. The outgoing transfers like Piech to Sivasspor for 350k or Kamil Grabara to Liverpool youth teams for another 330k did not help, because many other key players like Kuświk, Starzyński or Sadlok all left on a free, and in the club's position, transfer income would be vital to keep it running, or at least clear some debts. Dariusz still blamed the Polish FA for the downfall, mainly for taking the manager, Waldemar Fornalik, to the Polish national team after the 2011-12 season. In March 2016, he asked the city for a loan of just over €4 million. It took 2 months to get it, but it was clear at this point. Ruch is on a downfall, and the 2016-17 season would just finalize the deal. Before we continue, I'd like to use these couple of seconds to ask you if you enjoyed this video so far. If that's the case, hit that like and subscribe buttons. You can also talk about another redemption arcs of football around the world. I'll be happy to learn about more of them. I am preparing more videos about football in Central/Eastern Europe, mainly Poland like this one, and I will be very grateful for you not missing out on them. And I think we can perfectly describe this inevitable collapse by comparing it to 5 stages of grief. Right now we're in the denial stage, where the results masked the financial troubles, but that was about to progress to the 2nd stage. If you thought Ruch got down by just being last in the league, you'd be right, but they did not just do it on the sporting merit. Ruch got an 8-point deduction, later reduced to 4, thanks to a new scandal unfolding in December 2016. The club was giving double employment to the players, giving part of the salary through the club and the other through Ruch's foundation, which is a completely different entity. This itself wasn't that much of a problem. The problem was the club had a salary cap due to their financial struggles ordered by the league, and that foundation was meant to be a way to avoid said limit. The even bigger problem? There was a reasonable suspicion that the foundation wasn't paying their part to the players anyway. One of the key players, a playmaker Patryk Lipski, terminated the contract because he wasn't paid by the club. Kamil Mazek, a very quick right winger, left for Zagłębie Lubin. Everyone who had a chance was leaving the sinking ship, and no replacements could be available because 1. There were huge financial struggles, 2. The club had a transfer embargo. Even without that deduction, they would still finish rock bottom. Waldemar Fornalik gave up on rescuing the pretty much dead club before matchday 30, out of 37, because back then Ekstraklasa split their clubs into 2 groups of 8. Sure, Rafał Siemaszko's handball stole any of the chances Ruch had to stay up, but the Blues did not have many of them anyway, failing to win in the last 11 games of the campaign. And now we're entering the anger stage. On the final match day against Górnik Łęczna, where the deal was done for both of them, called relegation, the ultras of Ruch threw pyro onto the pitch. I'm not sure how this did not end with a walkover for Górnik. The carnage wouldn't end there though, with the same ultras invading the pitch after the game, leading to a police intervention. At this point, I still don't know how it did not end up with a walkover for Górnik. Anyways, we now have Ruch in the second tier. But we almost didn't, because the club wasn't certain of getting the license to play, thanks to more financial constraints. Good thing they got one at the end of the day, but deducted points went in again, 6 this time. The Blues did not leave the relegation zone for the entire season and spent almost all of it on the last place, where they finished. It was a ruin not only on financial terms, but also on the pitch. The 2016-17 season was genuinely the one where Ruch could stay up, but in 2018 there were 3 games in a space of 1.5 months where Ruch conceded 6 goals. There was no way the Blues would not suffer a second consecutive relegation. They found themselves in the 3rd year for the first time in Ruch's near 100 years history. Oh hi, it's Górnik Łęczna again. They also got relegated from the 2nd tier. The only difference is they made it on a sporting merit. In the meantime, when still in Ekstraklasa, Dariusz Smagorowicz left his chairman post and sold his club shares to the new chairman, Janusz Paterman. Janusz left that post after the 2nd relegation, but if I stopped here, that wouldn't tell a full story. A former player of Ruch and the new director of football in Śląsk Wrocław, Rafał Grodzicki, revealed his perspective a couple of months ago in a podcast. We blamed Smagorowicz for skyrocketing Ruch's debt and blowing up the finances. But at least he tried. Players were not paid for 3 to 4 months on average for nearly a decade at this point, but Dariusz at least tried to cover up the situation. One of the cases Grodzicki revealed is that he could at least go to Smagrowicz's business, get some cash as part of the salary for the players to cover most basic needs. But Paterman, he not only did not pay the players, but he wasn't even trying. One of the stories revealed by Grodzicki comes from a day before the game against Śląsk Wrocław, still in Ekstraklasa. Nearly the entire team, furious at not even being able to cover basic needs without the salary, that didn't come for months now, came to Paterman's office. They warned Janusz that the team already got in touch with the lawyers and the Polish FA. Paterman's response? I know this is the last day I can pay you and avoid legal action, but there will be no cash because I found a way not to pay you. With a smile. The team went to Wrocław, wanted to prove the chairman wrong, but unfortunately after the first conceded goal the energy blew itself away, leading to a 6-0 loss. Paterman is also told to be responsible for not only not paying the players, not only further enlarging the debt and not helping it by renting a car and a driver for himself, rejecting sponsorship offers or letting go one of Ruch's biggest talents, Michał Helik, without even compensation, but also ruining the dressing room atmosphere, as he got the older group of players conflicted with the younger ones, and involved the coach Waldemar Fornalik in that mess, which led to Waldemar's resignation. Paterman got replaced by Jan Hrapek. And this is where we enter the bargaining stage. First thing Mr. Hrapek said while entering office? Our goal is to return to the 2nd tier in the first time of asking. It's ambitious, but I would rephrase it to our goal is to clean up as much of the mess as we can, then we can think of attacking promotion. Because 3 different coaches, including Jan Kocjan, who achieved 3rd place in Ekstraklasa with Ruch back in 2014, couldn't find a way to at least give some hope for the club to turn things around. This was it. The club was done. 3rd successive relegation. We're entering the depression. This was the point when it wasn't just the footballers, coaches, or chairman that were done. Speaking of the last ones, Hrapek resigned from his post, leaving a vacancy nobody wanted to take. I look back and I say, This is the time when everyone had enough. Starting with the fans, who announced a boycott of the games, then the club's employees followed, starting a protest. Players did not train as well. Ruch needed a million zloty, around 230,000 euros, to just start in the 4th tier, and there was no prospect of getting this money. Was the club about to call it a day and disappear? Or at best start from the B klasa, the lowest tier? Thankfully, at least that's not happening. One of the shareholders sent just enough money so that Ruch could begin playing in the new season. And it was enough to give it a go and to give it a try. To work for 12 plus hours a day, to win a bit more money here, bit money there, through promoting the city and the club via events with fans, schools or in the town of Chorzów itself, as well as recording hundreds of videos or advertisements. The vacancy on chairman post was also filled by a former player and coach of Ruch, Seweryn Siemianowski. He's already got experience with clubs on tight finances, working as a director in the UKS, which functions a bit like the academy, though Ruch has a proper one for itself. He claims he only knew about 10% of the problems stepping in and wouldn't take the chairman post if he knew about every single issue. But everyone around the club is glad he did. Seweryn was the man who united the fans, sponsors, shareholders, employees, players, everyone, so they could push the club in the right direction. The club just reached the acceptance stage. It was now time to turn onto return red to the top of the Polish game, but it wouldn't be that easy. Clearing all of that off-the-pitch stuff took half a year and it was only the first stage. The squad needed filling up before the season as well. There was a point where every player was free to look for a new club, and 15 of them did, 4 more going out on loan. Many players Ruch wanted to sign, but they did not want to join. It just wasn't a good decision to move when the wages wouldn't be much better. The Blues had to use desperate measures, and organized an open day. Anyone could sign up and trial to become a Ruch player. So 1,000 people showed up. Not a joke. 1,000. Former players rejoined and the other signings were from the region. There were no foreign players unless they were already playing in the region naturally. Just pure Silesian power at this point. New coach was also hired. Another former Ruch's youth team's player, Łukasz Beretta. He had the backing from the fans because of that, and though he had a very bad start with 2 losses and a draw, the team under his management finally found their way to regular winning. The Ruch staff wanted to get promoted to the 3rd tier in 2 seasons, but there was a huge chance to do it in the first one. In 18 matches, including those 3 first games, they collected 31 points and were getting closer and closer to Polonia Bytom and Śląsk Wrocław's B team. By the way, here's the video about the problems of the latter ones this year. The mentality shifted from just stay up, it cannot get worse, to we need to go up within 2 months. And that could happen if a certain disease didn't show up. We know exactly which one. The season ended after 18 match days. Ruch finished 3rd. Did not get promoted as only the winners did. But the most important point is, the club was mostly cleared from financial and squad problems. Nobody had to protest, the vision was clear at this point. Apart from the stadium. The topic of building a new proper one in place of the nearly 100-year-old ground is the subject of a 15+ year saga now, and this is worth getting a separate video. Going back to the pitch in the 2020-21 season, Ruch achieved something they were stopped from a year before. It was a total demolition. 92 points in 36 matches was more than enough to win over Polonia Bytom by 11 points. First promotion. But we know this club couldn't just stop here. Unfortunately, the negotiations over a new contract for Łukasz Beretta failed. The replacement, after rejections from a couple of managers due to too much pressure after the promotion, Jarosław Skrobacz took charge. He joined the team who, of course, wanted to get promoted as soon as possible, but due to a narrow squad, just said promotion playoffs would be great. Well, Ruch did not lose for 12 first matches in a row, and was 3rd after the first round. A place they kept, allowing Ruch to partake in the promotion playoffs. A win over Radunia Stężyca in extra time and a dominant 4-0 win over Motor Lublin were enough for Ruch to earn a second promotion. Nobody in the club wanted to admit it, mainly to ease off the pressure, but that was the exact goal. In the second tier, Ruch again wanted to just solidify themselves and not get too ahead of themselves. Anything beyond a stable mid-table finish would be a nice bonus. 3rd promotion in a row? That would be a 1 in a million scenario. Oh boy. Ruch is third during the winter break, which would give them the promotion playoffs. But the playoffs, if they happened, wouldn't be hosted on Ruch's original home ground. One of the lighting towers was in danger of collapsing, and the city inspectors ordered its renovation, which forced Ruch to see out the season in Gliwice, on the west side of Silesia. On the new ground, a key victory against Wisła Kraków led them up to second, a position giving automatic promotion. And when it all was going so right, Ruch bottled it in the penultimate matchday, losing in a derby to GKS Katowice, against a team that played for pretty much nothing at this point. But even bigger news came from Kraków. Despite a nearly instant Boris Moltenis' goal for Wisła, the White Star also bottled a game against Zagłębie Sosnowiec. This put Ruch on a head start in the promotion race on the final match day against GKS Tychy. Win, and history will be made. Only one goal was scored during this game, from a hero at the front line, Daniel Szczepan. This was enough. Ruch went from the first tier to multi-regional leagues back to Ekstraklasa in 7 years. And the wonderful thing, half of the team that won the final promotion was from Silesia, and 6 of the regular starters were here before the first promotion. But this story would be too good to believe if Ruch went on to win the league title at the first time of asking, which they already did once, back in 1989, right after getting promoted from the second tier. But this time I'll stop the tension. Ruch did not stay up at the top tier, and after the 2023-24 relegation, they went down back to the second tier. Avoiding this fate was possible. There were a bunch of games where Ruch was just unlucky. Zagłębie Lubin had Bartłomiej Kłódka, a right back who got this wonderful strike. There was a last-minute equalizer by Jesus Imas from Jagiellonia. Ruch also got 2 red cards against Widzew. There was a disallowed opening goal against Górnik Zabrze in a derby. And also, there was a last-minute penalty for Cracovia. And these are just a couple of examples. Sporting-wise, it wasn't good. But this time, the relegation wasn't the end of the world. No financial collapse was awaiting when they were getting the drop. And more good news, Ruch moved stadiums again in the Ekstraklasa. From a small for the club's needs at this point, 10k ground in Gliwice, which is a ground belonging to the club named Piast Gliwice, to a massive Silesian stadium in Chorzów. This state-of-the-art 55,000 capacity stadium was even more than enough for Ruch. The size of the stadium allowed the club to beat the attendance record in the 21st century in a league game against Widzew Łódź. The record is now set at 50,087 fans showing up. It did help that Widzew and Ruch fans are long-term friends. Over 30,000 crowds also watched Ruch take on Legia Warsaw, Śląsk Wrocław, or a derby against Górnik Zabrze. Even in the second tier, more than 10,000 people show up to the games. So Ruch may no longer be a part of Ekstraklasa for now, but I'm far from an opinion that this redemption arc is over. After quite a shaky start to the season, the manager Janusz Niedźwiedź was replaced by Dawid Szulczek, for whom Ruch is a boyhood club. Szulczek changed the tactical system, switched the formation from 3 to 4 at the back, and it quickly delivered results. As I'm recording this video, Ruch jumped from mid-table to a promotion playoff spot, thanks to a series of 5 wins in a row through October and the start of November. While the return to Ekstraklasa isn't guaranteed or something very likely now, there is a chance for the redemption arc to get back on track. And who knows, maybe a league title like 2020s. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself at this point. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be very grateful for that. Also, congratulations on keeping up with the entire video. I really appreciate that. There are more videos where I talk about the Polish football in general or some other European leagues. And there's also a team that maybe is not on a redemption arc, but their last season's championship isn't a fluke. And the name of the club is Jagiellonia Białystok. I have made a video about them, which is available on your screen right now.